this morning? Are you good? You look great. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad you're here because I love telling this story. And we tell this story every year. It's one of those ones that just has to be told. And it's a story that begins, yes, in the land where Jesus lived and taught. And we really need to stretch it out because this story takes a lot of room today. And this story begins in a little town that we've seen before called Nazareth. Yay. Nazareth was a tiny little town high up in the hills in this very dry land. And the people here were very poor. Most of them were farmers. They didn't have very much money because the government took just about everything that they grew or everything that they made. And so life was very, very hard. And so the people here worked very hard. They also prayed very hard because they believed in God the way all people did. And in this little town, there was one man named Jesus. He grew up here, and when we meet him in this story, he's an adult. He's probably maybe 28 or 29, something like that. So he's old. And he was like everyone else here. He worked, he lived, he was poor. But he was not very happy about the way people were being treated, that they had so much taken away from them. And he had kind of a sore spot in his heart because he really thought that life should be better than that. And he heard about this man named John who lived in another part of this dry land. And John was telling people a different story about God and helping people to have more joy, more happiness in their lives. And he did that by baptizing them in the river, yeah. And the river was the Jordan. And it was a big river that flowed through the land. And so people would come out to listen to John, to hear what he had to say, and they felt better. They felt better about God. They felt better about their life after listening to him. And so Jesus made the trek out, left Nazareth, left his family, left his job, left his friends, and went out into the desert to meet this strange guy named John. And John wore, apparently, according to the story, camel's hair clothing. And as you may know from hearing this before, he ate grasshoppers with honey. That was his diet. I didn't bring the grasshopper today because I didn't want to tell that part of the story. I grossed you out last time. So, when people felt that they really wanted to change the way they felt about their lives and change the way around how they felt about God, John would go out into the river, and they would come out into the river, and he would push them down under the water completely. And when they came up, they felt completely different. Completely different. And so all these people would get pushed down under the water and come up, and that was called being baptized. And it changed them. Do you want to baptize that one? Oh, that one floats. I wish I could float. And so, just like all these other people, one day Jesus decided this was his time. And so, he went out into the water, and just like the others, John pushed Jesus down under the water. And when he came up out of the water, the strangest thing happened. Suddenly the sky opened. The sky opened. And Jesus felt the Spirit of God come down, just like a dove flying down, and landed on him. And it filled his whole body, and he heard this amazing voice. That's the kind of voice he heard. And he heard the voice say, "You are my son, chosen and marked with my love, pride of my life." And Jesus felt God in him like he'd never felt God before. And no one else, none of the people here, not John, no one else heard that voice. Only Jesus heard that voice. And Jesus knew what he had to do. He had to tell everyone about God. I wonder why Jesus liked what John was saying about God. What do you think, Catherine? Because it made the Spirit flow. Yeah. I wonder how Jesus felt when he came up out of the water. Happy, excited, joyful, wet. He looks pretty wet. I wonder why Jesus felt that he was chosen by God. Yeah, it's a tough one. And I wonder how we know today that we are loved by God. I wonder how we know that. That's a hard one too, isn't it?
Because we know that God will always be with us because He's always there.
Because we know God will always be with us, yeah. Well, that's our story. And I forget what we're going to sing. Like a healing stream, of course, like a healing stream. And you're welcome to stay and sing it with us, and then you can head off to Children's Church. And as we sing this, I would encourage you to sing it the way the words are written. Very gently as a healing stream, a little bit more as whatever the second verse is. The gentle rain. A little bit more as the river, and then finally the mighty sea. Just sing from the depth of your heart. And at the end of the song, we'll bring it back down as we sing those 4 lines at the end. Like a healing stream.